Welcome back to another English lesson. We have a lot to talk about. The UN got together in New York. A lot of world leaders attended. Trump was there, and he said some things that are going to make maybe his former friends angry. People like Putin.
In Putin, and he's been fighting hard. He's been fighting long, and they lost millions. They lost like 1 million soldiers. And they've, with all of the heavy bombardment over the last 2 weeks, they've gained almost no land.
People like Benjamin Netanyahu. So, in today's English lesson, we are going to talk about a lot of things. We'll talk about the war in Ukraine. We'll talk about the entire region around Israel, Gaza, the West Bank. Recently, some countries like France and Canada said they are going to recognize Palestine. And that goes against what President Trump is trying to do. He also said some things to President Zelensky, who was there in New York, that are going to make Putin mad. If that sounds good to you, let's get started with this English lesson. Wait, before we do, if you don't mind hitting that like button, it just helps other English learners find the channel and it really supports me. We are going to watch an interview with Fox News, so be careful. If you know anything about Fox News, they really like Trump. They are pretty much Republicans, and they are going to interview a retired four-star general, meaning he used to be in the U.S. military. Therefore, he really loves the United States. He really loves Trump. So he might be seeing the world through rose-colored glasses. That is an idiom. I know the man in the picture is wearing glasses, but you do not need to wear glasses to see the world or a situation in rose-colored glasses. So let's take a look at the definition. It means to see things as better than they really are. And this General Keane, I think he sees things better than they are. He just assumes everyone is going to love Trump and the United States, and I know that's not true. Let's look at a sentence that uses rose-colored glasses. He looked at the past with rose-colored glasses, forgetting the bad things or the bad times. Let's watch that interview together, and then I will come back and teach all of the difficult terms. Lots of idioms and phrasal verbs in this one.
Protests expected today here in New York City as Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will be speaking at the United Nations. He's expected to condemn countries who recently recognized Palestinian statehood. Meanwhile, President Trump is pushing back on the possibility of Israel annexing all the West Bank.
I will not allow Israel to annex the West Bank. No, I will not allow it. It's not going to happen. There's been enough. It's time to stop now.
Retired four-star General Jack Keane just returned from Israel and joins us now to tell us what he found out. General, what should we know about the operation in Gaza City and the mood in Israel itself?
So I'm not sure if you would agree, but it seems like Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, and Trump are pretty good friends. But Trump was pushing back against what Netanyahu wanted to do in the West Bank. We'll talk about the West Bank in a little bit, but let's get that English phrasal verb out of the way, pushing back. It means fighting against or resisting something. Now, in the picture, we can see there is a teacher, and it looks like she might be giving out a lot of homework. Let's use that English phrasal verb in a sentence. The students pushed back when the teacher gave too much homework. Annexing. They talked about that in the interview. So Israel wants to annex the West Bank. Trump pushed back and said, no, you've done too much. You've destroyed Gaza, killed tens of thousands of people. I'm not going to let you do this. So what does it mean if a country tries to annex part of another country? That means taking land and making it part of your country, usually by war. So let's take a look at that picture. This is just a random piece of land. Who knows? This could apply to Russia in Ukraine. Russia is trying to annex parts of Ukraine. The country was annexing land from its neighbor, the West Bank. I can put up a map right now showing you where Israel is, where Gaza is, where the West Bank is. There you will know what we call those territories, those pieces of land. They're not countries, the West Bank and Gaza. Some people might call it part of Palestine. But the West Bank is an area of land near Israel that is often in the news because of conflict. Many people live in the West Bank, but there are often fights about who controls it. I have memberships. If you would like to become a member, you will get a bonus English lesson each week. And this week's English lesson is going to be a quiz about all of these terms we talk about today. If you want more information on becoming a channel member, take a look at the comments. There is a link you can click on. It will give you more information.
Yeah, well, a couple of things. First of all, I've never seen such pro-American attitude among the population in Israel. It's always been solid, but it's really over the top as a result of the United States supporting Israel unequivocally with weapons and also with that decisive attack. And the praise for President Trump is everywhere you go, once they recognize that we're Americans. And by the way, Fox News and Fox Business plays 24/7 there, so they're very familiar with what we're talking about right now today. I think what we see in front of us, the challenges are finish Hamas in Gaza, keep their foot on Hezbollah. They've conducted over 1,000 attacks. They will not let them build capabilities in southern Lebanon again. That's never going to happen. And think of this. Lebanon is now talking about forcing Hezbollah to disarm. Who would have ever thought we'd be on that page?
Here we're talking about solid, like a solid friendship or a solid relationship. It means strong and dependable. You can see in the picture, those two friends look like they have a solid friendship. Here's a sentence. They have a solid friendship and always help each other. Up until recently, it seemed like Putin and Trump had a solid relationship. But in a minute, we'll find out Trump is saying things that's going to make Putin pretty upset. Trump might say what Netanyahu is doing in Gaza is over the top. Here we have another English idiom. It means too much or more extreme than normal. I'm not exactly sure what is going on in this picture. It looks like a mom maybe is cleaning up. Hang on, let's get rid of this. And she left a crumb behind. Like this little kid's reaction, it might be over the top. Like maybe he should clean that crumb up instead, but he is having a pretty big reaction. We could say that his reaction was over the top. His reaction was over the top when he shouted about a small mistake. Unequivocally is next. I think that's kind of hard to say. Unequivocally. Unequivocally, it's a very advanced term. If you are still watching this English lesson, you must be a very advanced English learner because some of these words are very difficult. Unequivocally, it means clearly, with no doubt. Take a look at the picture. She said unequivocally that she would not support the plan to work later on a Friday night. And hey, guess what? I don't blame her. Who wants to work late on a Friday night? Keep their foot on something. Sometimes you will hear keep their foot on the gas. They didn't use it in this interview, but it's similar to the definition down there. It means to keep pressure or control, not letting up. We have a soccer match here. The team kept their foot on the gas and won the game easily. Do you know that English phrasal verb I just used, to let up? It means like not to slow down, not to relax.
That is a game changer right there. And certainly the Abraham Accords are not dead despite all the radioactive activity surrounding the Qatar attack. They still want to make a deal. Maybe not immediately, but over time. That is positive. And lots of talk about what to do about Gaza. Nothing definite about it for sure. One thing I was struck by, they've done some informal surveys, and there's a number of Gazans who'd be willing to relocate to another country voluntarily.
Right.
That is interesting of itself. A lot of work to be done here, and we'll listen to what the Prime Minister has to say here. But he's going to take a strong stand.
Great.
I compare him to Churchill. Absolute resolve and determination to focus on what the real objectives are, and will let nothing interfere with him in accomplishing those objectives.
We have another English idiom here, a game changer. A game changer is something that completely changes a situation. The new phone was a game changer in technology. I hope this English lesson is a game changer when it comes to your English learning. The Abraham Accords, these are agreements between Israel and some Arab countries to work together peacefully. Now, that retired general thinks that Qatar and Israel might have some sort of agreement when it comes to these Abraham Accords. I mean, Israel did just bomb Qatar, so I don't know. He sees things through rose-colored glasses, remember. The Abraham Accords helped Israel make peace with more neighbors. What if something is informal? It means casual, not official. And in the picture, you can see two people are having an informal business meeting. I mean, it looks like they are at a coffee shop, maybe somewhere in Italy. We had an informal meeting at the coffee shop. Now, I don't know about this, but General Keane says people in Gaza are willing to relocate. Relocate, it means to move to a new place. Take a look at that picture. On one side, it looks like we have some pyramids, that triangle-shaped thing. And on the other side, we have a windmill. My family will relocate from Cairo to Amsterdam next year for business. A lot of people will relocate for business. Here we have an English adverb, voluntarily. Voluntarily, it means doing something by choice, not forced. The verb form, which we will use in the sentence next, is volunteered. We'll actually use the verb and the adverb right here. She volunteered to help voluntarily at the soup kitchen because she wanted to give back to her community. Now, you probably don't need the verb and the adverb in the same sentence. I just wanted to show you how they were used. We also have a noun form of this word, and it is a volunteer.
Absolute resolve and determination to focus on what the real objectives are, and will let nothing interfere with him in accomplishing those objectives.
And if
Roosevelt, President Trump, supporting him down the road to achieve those objectives, and also providing some counsel and guidance along with it, which you would expect in a relationship like that.
General, something else happened. The president had a dramatic change of at least public display in terms of support for Ukraine. Part of a Truth Social, which I think is titanic and a change. Russia, he said this: Russia has been fighting aimlessly for 3.5 years, a war that should have taken a military power less than a week. This is not a distinguishing Russia. In fact, it's very much makes them look like a paper tiger. It looks like he's been reading the Institute study of war. Do you think this is the president's new resolve? And do you think that he sees what Putin's doing, a thug that can't be trusted?
Yeah, he's come to this conclusion, certainly after the Alaska summit. He knows full well that what Putin told him, that he was willing to meet with Zelensky and then have a three-party meeting following that. And, you know, within 24 hours, his people are saying, oh, there was never any commitment. So President Trump has known what he said in Truth Social for some time.
Resolve, it has a couple meanings in English. It could mean to fix a problem, or it could be to decide firmly, and that's the way they used it in the newscast. I hope this is true for you. Maybe you decided to do this. He had the resolve to study English for the rest of their life. Hang on, that sentence is correct, but I did change the pronoun. I will reread it. He had the resolve to study English for the rest of his life. Again, this guy, General Keane, is seeing things through rose colored glasses. He says Netanyahu will accept counsel and guidance from Trump. I'm not sure if that is true, but let's talk about what counsel and guidance is. They're basically the same thing. It's advice and support to help someone. Teachers often give counsel and guidance. The teacher gave counsel and guidance to the worried student. Titanic means extremely large, like the famous ship. About 30 years ago, there was a very famous movie, at least here in the United States, about the sinking of the Titanic. That happened in maybe like 1914 or something. Very large ship was sailing across the Atlantic Ocean. It hit an iceberg and it sank, killing over 1,000 people. But Titanic in English means just like very big. The company made a titanic effort to finish the project. Aimlessly. Aimlessly, that means without direction or purpose. Now, this is Deer Park in New Delhi, India. I was actually there this past summer. He walked aimlessly around the park, not knowing where to go. And it looks like he has a map out. So sometimes people will walk aimlessly when they don't know where to go. Oh no, AI made this slide and they spelled aimlessly wrong. We have another idiom here, a paper tiger. President Trump called Putin's Russian army a paper tiger. That means something that looks strong but is actually weak. Here is some random army from the past. The army looked big, but it was a paper tiger with no real power. Be careful with this word. Fox News used thug. I probably wouldn't use this word in real life, but it is a violent person who often breaks the law. I mean, take a look at that picture. That person is clearly breaking the law. Yes, you could call them a thug. The thugs stole money from the store and ran away. I want to congratulate you on making it to the end of this very difficult English lesson. If you want to test yourself, see how much you remember, go ahead, become a channel member. There is a link in the comments and the description. See you next time.